boot, 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 bobbing along.
Hi, we're Stuart and Emmie, and we're childfree after infertility. So we decided to change our life plans and moved on to a narrowboat. We're sharing our adventures here, and you're welcome to join us.
Hello!
Hi! We're finally sharing a boat tour video.
We only filmed it just over 2 years ago.
We've been living on the boat for nearly 2.5 years. The boat tour was filmed when we'd been on the boat for 4 months. So we're going back to November 2022. We had some technical issues while filming. It took quite a lot of editing to try and even out the sound. It's not perfect, but hopefully it's acceptable.
But we did watch it back through and we thought it was quite nice footage. By and large, and that it was worth sharing. So hopefully you enjoy it. Look at this slightly younger Stuart and Emmie, and look at this slightly younger Annie the Narrowboat.
Not much has changed boat-wise between then and now, yet. And enjoy the boat tour.
Yay!
Boop.
Hello and welcome to Bobbing Along.
The boat tour.
The boat tour.
Because, well, we've done quite a few episodes now, but not done a boat tour. And yeah, it'd be nice to film this.
Yeah.
And this is basically as the boat came. We've done a little bit of stuff to it, but I kind of feel like it's in a nice state. There's no point redecorating when everything's okay at the moment, and I quite like how it's more grown up than anywhere else we've ever lived.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to enjoy that for a bit before I decide to paint geese everywhere and make everything pink.
That. Enjoy the boat tour.
Okay. We've been living on the boat for about 3 months. Hang on.
Yeah, over
August,
3 months.
September, October. We're in our 4th month on the boat.
Yeah,
So we've settled in and we're feeling ready to show you around.
Yeah.
Basically. So,
enjoy.
welcome to Annie. Let's have a look around. Welcome to the boat. So there are steps coming down once you come in through the front doors, and the steps are actually storage, so these lift off and we put things that we don't need very often in here.
You can also access the water tank through those steps as well.
Though I can't deny I've never looked at that and I don't know how to.
I've looked at it with fear and trepidation in my heart and just said a little prayer that nothing goes wrong.
This is where I work from home, and we sort of hot desk this. Stu made this desk, so it's lovely. He got paint on it just this morning. Yeah, you can see some of his war hammers. Stuart's mess. And some more war hammers.
It's not. I mean, it is quite a bit of my mess, but it's our week off today, and I'm going to have a little bit of extra hobby time this week.
Yes, some little bits and bobs. We feel like we haven't really utilised this space very well.
No. I would like to rebuild that space, but it's nothing like that feels like it's a great rush to do.
No, not at all. And yes, and this is sort of Stu's work bag zone.
Yeah, it's a little bit. So
Sofa, which is white, which we never would have chosen. It does look nice though, I think, until we covered it in coal. So now there's a throw over the seats to protect it. Who buys a white sofa?
On a boat.
Not us.
On a boat with a fire.
Well, I'm guessing the previous people were just much more careful.
Than me.
Yeah, than you.
Yeah.
Bookshelves, TV, and whatever you call this bit, speakers.
Media centre?
Yeah.
Entertainment?
Which we don't really use, but like having.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave it as is, even though that could be so many books, couldn't it? That could be so many books.
This is our dinette, where Emmie does all of her drawing. I really like having a dinette. I don't know why, but it was one of the things that I really wanted to have in a boat. It wasn't a deal breaker, but I just thought it would be a a nice thing to have, but to use as a second desk primarily, but also it's nice for when we do our little games night or we want to have a romantic meal together. The seats both have storage in it. This originally had a 12-volt freezer in it, but we decided that we'd rather have a fridge with a nice compartment than a freezer, and have that as storage. This one is also storage. I can pick that up.
And that's full of my sewing and art supplies.
Yeah, so you use both of those for storage. I have under the sofa, and then I guess under the bed is shared storage, which is like the bulk of our storage. We have a Arrow stove. Rada stove? I can't remember. We have a stove, and it's really good. It's taken us... we've had it on now for maybe like a month and a half largely, and it has taken us a bit of time to get used to managing the heat. We've had some days where we've got it up to like nearly 30 in here and it did not need to be, and some days where we've struggled to get the heat up, but it's a really nice way to heat. And it's also nice for me because of my day job, I create lots of offcuts of wood that I struggle to use. So at least then we can use that as part of the way that we keep ourselves warm.
Yeah, my cookbook collection, because of all the cooking I do not do.
Yeah, it is funny. I don't own a single cookbook, I don't think, anymore. And you have loads of cookbooks, and yet I do the cooking.
I just like to think about cooking.
Yeah.
I'd like to imagine myself as someone who cooks.
Kitchen! Kitchen is a little bit more my domain. This is a really lovely kitchen. It's probably slightly smaller in square footage than the kitchen in our flat, but it's bigger than in terms of the actual workable workspace and such. We've got a hob and oven. The oven is a grill and an oven, and it's a fan-assisted oven, which my only real disappointment, really, is that the oven, we have to turn on the inverter to use the oven. It doesn't take a lot of energy, but it's still a little bit of a pain to have to do that. We've got this fancy, sink and draining board with built-in second drainage into it, which is kind of cool. We've made use of some of the highest space to store lighter things as well as our spices. I made that out of some offcuts of walnut. We then have our fridge and little freezer box, which is really handy. It's really nice having a fridge. Everyone has a fridge, there's not much to say about it. We've got lovely storage, both sides. We tend to keep a lot of tinned stuff in case we sort of run low, but actually, generally speaking,
Ooh, there's tea.
There's tea. We've been pretty good for fresh. This is our duck hatch. We're floating at the moment. So
sorry, I was actually just filming our fruit bowl full of crisps.
A couple of days ago, it had apples and bananas in it. This is where our washing machine was. It's now like a sort of larder storage. I don't know how much of that you need to see.
No, I don't want to show that.
We then have two cupboards. We keep this as our clean cupboard.
And bags up there, and some art prints.
And this is our dirty sort of stuff that's been worn but isn't filthy. This kitchen is covered in little fancy lights, so we have little touch lights everywhere.
And this, we don't understand what this is for. I can't think of a scenario where we need that.
It's very 90s, isn't it, I think?
Is it?
Early 2000s.
Then we've got a magnet board on that side. And a pin board on this side.
Do you want to do bathroom?
Yes, okay. And we're in the bathroom. This is quite small. So here we have a little monitor for our batteries.
Yeah.
And this is the cassette toilet, which, so there are cassettes underneath, like, that you can pull out through the bottom of this cupboard that we empty a couple of times a week.
Yeah. We currently have 2 cassettes.
Stu is desperate to have 3,
I am.
I will get him a 3rd cassette, early Christmas present.
Whoop whoop.
Towel storage. And so more towel storage. Here's the sink. This is Henrietta the plant.
Looking a little
She
sad.
does look really sad. She's just got one surviving leaf. She doesn't like moving, so every time she moves house, she gets very upset. And actually, yeah, no, she was completely dying. When we moved her into the bathroom, that's when this one leaf perked back up. So I
But
think
all
this is
the
the
other
right
leaves
place.
have died.
They were already dead.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so there's this weird. I think it looks really nice, but this bowl, I don't know. I feel like it's so easy to splash water outside of the bowl of this thing.
And it feels a slightly unnecessarily large unit.
Yeah, you could use this as useful space, but it feels cluttered to put anything on it. Really.
Yeah.
And we've got a bath with a shower here. This is our shower curtain we've always had.
Yep.
Don't really want to film too much in there because there's a load of rubbish in the bottom of the bath. And welcome to the bedroom.
Whoop whoop.
We should have filmed this earlier in the day. We've basically just lost the light, so it's just getting dark now. But this is our double bed. There's just space, not a lot of space in here really. I dread to think what this is going to look like. I feel like it's really hard to get the right distance and to film this. I don't know how other people on YouTube have managed because, yeah.
Most people watching this have probably seen a boat tour video before.
Yeah, a lot better ones. Yeah, we put these little shelves up above our bed as like bedside tables. Spin the duck. Stu got him for me for my birthday this year because Instagram knows I love ducks and geese, and I just get so many duck and goose adverts. And like, I really had Finn the Duck Lamp adverts really being showered on me, and I was like, I actually really want this lamp. Susceptible. Yeah, so there's a hot water guy underneath the bed. What are you mouthing at me?
Boiler.
Yeah, hot water guy.
A hot water guy.
Yeah, and then some storage space. We've got all in like plastic boxes and a damp. We've got lots of little, what do you call these things? Damp heaters.
Like little mini dehumidifier blocks.
It's like a pot, and you put some sort of stuff in it, and then it fills up with water.
Dehumidifier block.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds very unfamiliar. I don't think I've ever heard anyone call it that. Yeah, I probably haven't seen in our bedroom much. We don't film in here.
No.
Here's my favourite thing, is my Moomin poster.
It's a good moving poster. That's Emmy's pig. So that chest of drawers is kind of our other main clothes. But we've got a little under here as well. There's some drawers under there. And now let's have a quick look at Annie's engine bay. Welcome to Annie's engine bay, which is probably the most filmed part of our boat.
I don't think it is. I think the sofa is.
Possibly, yeah. Under here is Annie's actual engine. And we've got the leisure batteries under here, which is what we get our power from at night. Annie has a 1.7 Peugeot diesel engine, which is a really nice, sort of quite grunty, powerful engine, but with the one downside that it's a Marinized car engine, so it's a little tricky to find people to work on it, which we've talked about.
Hey guys, this is Stuart, and I'm coming at you from the future to correct my past mistakes. Not anything significant, just my mistakes about the engine. Hence why I haven't got a beard again. So this is our engine. It is a car engine. It is a Peugeot XUD 9A. It's a 1.9 70 horsepower engine. It has a cam belt, which is down here, which is really unusual in a boat. In fact, you generally don't have, you might have like a timing belt or something, but most boats don't have a cam belt like we have on here, which basically, as well as keeping the main crankshaft moving, it also like times the water pump and everything else, and it's a bit more complicated than what you typically need in a narrowboat. And at 70 horsepower, it's definitely a bit too big for what you need in a narrowboat. Most narrowboats have like a 30 to 40 horsepower engine, with the idea being with a narrowboat engine is that they're essentially high torque but low power. So you get a lot of drive despite the fact that it's not a hugely powerful engine, whereas this is the other way around, so it's moderately high power but it will be lower torque because it's a car engine. Unfortunately, how powerful it is has led to it pretty much destroying itself, and we are in real time currently having to get the engine replaced. So spoiler alert, unless you follow us on Instagram and you already know, we are going to be replacing our engine quite soon. Under here we have our gearbox, which is a PRM 150, and then our coupling going to the propeller. So then that's our yeah, it's all a little bit greasy and black and oily. We've had so many engine problems unfortunately this year. On here we've got our little control panel, which while we're cruising just shows us the state of both our leisure batteries and our starter battery. We've got our horn, our water pump. No, that's our water pump. I have no idea what that is. That's our horn, that's our light, and then we've got our oil pressure and our engine temperature, and then this is our throttle. It's a Morse throttle. We've never had any issues with it, so I can't really say too much about it, but that is our throttle. We have, here is our various switchboards that turn things on and off within the boat. We have behind here our solar controllers and our inverter. Neither of us know that much about electric stuff.
What I understand is that our batteries can do 12 volt power, which is fine for things that are built to do 12 volt, like our 12 volt fridge, which is a more expensive version of a normal fridge.
Yeah.
Or charging phones and like low power sort of things. But if we wanted to use proper things that use a proper plug, like charging a proper laptop, or what else do we like? Just charging things that have proper plugs, we have to turn on the inverter so that we can use 240 volt power, which is the normal kind of power like you'd have in a house.
Yeah.
And it's some sort of magic box to convert the 12 volt battery power into 240 volt. If I've understood correctly, that's what's going on there.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a sine wave inverter, which means it's good for doing electrical devices like computers and things. It is quite good. We mostly just use it when we're doing the hoovering, to be honest.
Yes, Hoover. That's what we mostly turn it on for. I was like, what do we use it for? Because we hardly ever actually use the inverter.
Yeah.
No, I don't hoover every week because I sweep a lot. I just sweep most of the time.
Probably one of the most useful bits of the engine bay is this section here where we've got all of our chains and hooks and things. This was already done for us, which is quite handy.
That made it look a little bit messy.
It is a bit messier than it was.
Yeah, so it's like mooring pins. These chains are good when there's it's called Armco, which is where there's like a sort of metal railing that you can hook the chains through, and that's the preferred way of mooring rather than hammering in pins. And this is a windlass for doing the locks.
Yeah.
We're not great about using these. These are the...
Oh, I think people really use them on rivers and things, right? It's normal not to be using them, I think.
I think so. We do think Annie was on a river as well, quite a bit. So that's not that would be about right. But we have used them a couple of times, I think.
I don't remember ever putting one on, actually. I don't have any memory of that. I thought of something I wanted to say for inside, which is that we've changed the art round. Like, it's all our own pictures, our own framed pictures. But the curtains is the one thing I do want to change, because that's not our taste. We would never have picked these curtains.
No.
They're all right. It's just not what we would have picked. So I have a small amount of the fabric from the curtains that I made for our flat, the blinds I made for our old flat, but it's only enough for one set of curtains for each, like one window, I think. So my long-term plan is to change those curtains over.
The one thing that is quite good about these curtains is that they're quite opaque, which I don't think that's...
the lining. I'll use the same lining.
Yeah.
I'm not going to throw out
But
the
I'm
lining.
just saying, like, on the whole, that's quite good, but...
Boop. But I did throw away those linings as they were manky. A year later, I sewed new curtains for the boat by hand and sort of patchworked new linings from fabric I'd hoarded over the years. We love them. Boop.
Here is my tool storage. This is kind of my everyday tools that I use quite regularly. I will gradually get round to putting some more on.
That's Emmy proof.
Annie, as I said before, pretty sure came from the CAM in Cambridge, and the ooze, because I recognise this. Just this completely not why we bought Annie at all, but I recognise that as St Neots Rowing Club, which is very near where my dad grew up and where a lot of my family is from. So it's just quite nice to have that little tie-in. Also, we don't know where this one is, but I strongly suspect that that is meant to be Annie, however she looked before she was repainted at some point. Because look at it, she's got 4 mushroom vents, she's got 3 windows there, and then the duck hatch would be there. So I reckon that that is meant to be Annie, wherever she was first moored. And I love it.
Oh, the light looks beautiful out there now.
So, let's go outside.
So this is the tiller, and you put
Tiller arm.
the tiller arm on, and like you put a pin through. Ours is just plain, but I would really love to get a pig pin. Dropping hints for Christmas, Stu.
Yeah.
Pig pin.
Yeah, big bin.
Annie is 57 foot.
Yeah.
And we've got those like 3 big solar panels on the roof there, and that's our... Oh, is it 4? I can see 3 from where I'm standing. And that's our internet aerial sticking up there at the front on the tall white thing. We're always forgetting to put that down before we start cruising. And that's our chimney, just the chimney.
She was built in 2003-ish. Everything seems to date her between 1999 and 2003. She is a trad stern, or traditional stern, which means that basically she's got quite a short stern with a proper engine bay.
We've got all porthole windows.
Yeah, this is the one that we fixed and we painted.
Here's our duck hatch. Stu's fixed it with some rainbow duct tape temporarily because we found a leak a couple of weekends ago, I think. It's cute.
And then finally, I think, we have we have the bow where we have my chilies are just hanging out, and we've got our herbs there. And then we have the Cratch area, which...
It's pretty muddy at the moment. It's very hard to not get it muddy.
We had been being pretty good about keeping the Cratch clean because it's a really nice entertaining area during the summer, and we've been having people over. Obviously now things are a bit, we're not having so many people over. We're also filling up the coal hopper every couple of days, so that's why that's got a bit muddy and coaly inside. But it's kind of my favourite part of the boat because we've never had an outside space, and it is our outside space. Really.
I mean, we've never had an outside space, but we haven't for a long time, for sure.
Well, we haven't for a long time. Or not any outside space that's felt truly like ours.
True.
And this is it. It's not much, but it's ours, and I love it. There's a seagull.
Did you do that mark on the table?
Yeah. I'm going to replace the table.
Yes. So here is our inside of the Cratch. Bit of a mucky table. And some plants. This is Brunel in the chicken feet plant pot. And the bonus pig.
So, yes, that concludes our boat tour. I think I'm going to repin Annie, and then I think we're going to just chill out for the night.
And if you haven't seen our videos before, we're normally a lot less a lot less boat toury.
Yeah.
It's normally just
Life,
yeah. It's just sharing. It's a video diary. So this is a more awkward thing. I guess it feels less natural.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because it feels very talking to camera, whereas normally we're sort of...
We film a lot of our boat stuff, but it's kind of as it happens.
So hopefully when we edit this, it won't be as bad as it feels like it is.
Thank you very much
Thanks
for
for
watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching, and please, if you've enjoyed this video, give us a boop on the like button, a comment or a subscribe. Also, a massive thank you to John Madsen and Angie and Josh Davis for the Buy Me a Coffee donations this week. It really is appreciated. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.